Hello everyone. It's been a while. Quite a while, to be honest. It's good to see you guys here. And silly me. There we go. And so I believe it's been something like 2 months since the last time I streamed. Wow, I am rusty at this. Okay, so today I am going to be playing Sparkster on Super Nintendo. Now, see, this is the third game in the Rocket Knight Adventures series. The original game was on Genesis, then there was Rocket Knight Adventures 2 on Genesis, which was also called Sparkster. But aside from the music, they're basically entirely unrelated and different games. To me, that's one of the interesting pieces of history about this. It's been so long since I streamed that I thought I would just do something a little different, you know? So, okay. In just a moment and we will get started. Hello, Roto. Okay, so let's get underway. Let me restyle that chat just a tiny bit. Volume. I said I was rusty, didn't I? Now, one thing to know about this game is that it has 3 difficulties by default. There are more difficulties that are unlockable. But on easy mode, you do not get to see the ending of the game. On normal, you do, but you still miss out on a couple of stages. On hard, you get access to all of the stages in the game. So obviously, we are going to be playing on hard. Oh, thank you, Zan. I have no idea why the overlay is not showing up correctly. Give me a moment on that as well. Actually, your guess is as good as mine. It's there, it seems correct. Don't mind this. Don't mind this. I'm just making absolutely sure that the overlays are working. It's always strange when they don't show up even though they should. Like, I don't know why that would be. Now, this being a game in the Rocket Knight Adventures series, your hero has a sword but also a rocket, a jetpack, which you can use to go in 8 directions. And somewhat like The Legend of Zelda, you can fire waves from your sword. allowing you a slight ranged attack. It's been a long while since I've really played this, so you'll have to bear with me. Ouch! Now, the enemies in this game are basically an army of wolves. Evil wolves who have taken a princess, and it is the job of Sparkster, the Rocket Knight, to get her back. Obviously in this game you have quite a lot of health actually. There's not much of a benefit to killing the enemies, so sometimes you may as well just not bother. Yes, this is the third game in the Rocket Knight series, so... Got him. Now we go up into this ship. Essentially, the way the jetpack works is that when you hold your attack button, the gauge fills. And when it's full, you release to rocket. This is a game I really loved when it was new, so I felt like I wanted to introduce you all to it as well. You put that there. I'm pretty sure that infinite enemies come out of there. I must have interrupted something that they were doing. Ooh, I died. I haven't played this game in a fair while now. It's not an easy game, especially not on hard mode. You can't always see what you're going to run into, and you can't always... I actually own Awesome Possom as well. Yeah, widescreen is all this game would need for a really good port. Ow. I'm really messing up. Okay. My health is already at half again. Ouch. Whether consciously or not, I'm pretty sure that Stevie was inspired by Freedom Planet. Which reminds me, this week's coming Exceed Extreme is Freedom Planet, and I am going to be present in the chat. I don't normally talk much about my professional work here, but there you go. Sure, reach the boss with half a heart. That's not useful. Ah! Now, this boss's gimmick is pretty obvious. You have to hit the eye, but it spawns ads and shoots lasers. This time I'm going to take it slow and somewhat careful. Because sometimes you just gotta go slow. If I get 100 of these crystals, I get an extra life. Just saying. I'm already out of lives as it is, but there are infinite continues, I think. Oh, there's a password system, so... Ah! Too many ads! Ow. Thanks, Krusty. I really gotta get into the swing of this again. I died. One move that I haven't mentioned. Oh boy, there is a credit system. It won't be a big deal as long as I make sure to note my passwords, though. Now, I completely lost my train of thought. Where was I? Silly. Gosh, I completely lost my train of thought. My mind is a black hole. As I mentioned before, there is a game called Sparkster on Genesis, although it is called Rocket Knight Adventures 2 Sparkster. And the thing about that game is, all of the enemies are goblins, and the gameplay is really different in that one. In the original game, of course, that so many people know and love, the enemies were pigs. Just a little note for you there. Look, I want that banana. Got it. Right. Something I didn't mention before is that there is one other move in the game. If you press R or L, you'll do a little roll. And this functions as an attack that you can do pretty much any time, even just repeating it through the air. It's really useful, and it doesn't exist in any other Rocket Knight game, I think. Ow! I still messed that up. It goes without saying that this game is really hard. There's lots of enemies, and when rocketing, you are not necessarily protected. If you run into some things, you will still get hurt. And that is why, like Sonic the Hedgehog, we sometimes got to go slow. Okay, I got a bunch of half-eaten apples. Oh, he's still following me. Ah. Oh boy, okay. Here we go again, guys. This is what you guys came for, right? To see somebody fail horribly. That's what we all enjoy. Oh gosh. The enemies in this game, they seem to be aware of all of your tricks. They are always ready to stop you from doing anything useful. At least that's my opinion. By the way, guys, is the chat looking pretty good? I tried something different this time. Okay, that'll work. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not what's intended. I got myself killed after figuring something out. Sheesh. Okay. Okay, let it fire. Kill it. What the? It respawned. No wait, that's the other one. Okay, like this, go like this, go like this. Okay. Another one coming. Got it. So far, so good, guys. Oh. Speaking of healing, that I don't need. I'm getting back into it. So, is anybody at all here looking forward to the Switch version of Freedom Planet? I'm sure somebody is. Oh well. So, back in the day, I worked on the original version of Freedom Planet, although I wasn't a major part of it. So it's been interesting being able to revisit that and having to talk to people about the game all over again. I believe the last time I streamed was before E3. I, of course, was there at the Freedom Planet station all day, every day, explaining the game to people who had never played it before, answering some questions from people who had. Double ack. You'll never get a world record out of me. Much as I'd like to reassure you about it, I can't. A lot of people who like Sonic actually don't like Freedom Planet because they feel that the pace is too slow or things like that. It varies a lot between people. Personally, I quite like Freedom Planet, but I can't be too shameless of a shill. Oh gosh. There were a couple really close dodges there. And now we enter the factory stage. This stage can be really tough your first time around. Hello, Mew Mew. Well, this is the third Rocket Knight Adventures game. Hello, it's great to see you. That's better. I want that banana. Oh no! Lava. There we go. I'm doing well today, I think. Nothing especially wrong. I felt it had been way too long since I streamed, considering I've got all of you guys following me. And even, you know, of course, my subscribers, like Xanathus, Mirai, and Salvador. Yak. Yeah, it was something like 2 months, because, you know, first I had that month where I was getting ready for E3, since I was shipped out to Los Angeles to, actually, you know, be a part of XCC3 and everything. Then, the month, you know, the past month, I've been busy with some other stuff. Thank you, Mew Mew. I have no idea why the overlay isn't working. Like, it's actually bothering me that my overlays are not working. I'm tempted to just do this. Copying this, pasting. Yeah, that'll make them show up no matter what, but I'm not sure why the scene version isn't. Oh well, there we go. say that? I don't remember, but yeah, that was the first thing she did the moment she saw me. Sadly, I didn't really get to interact with her much because we were on complete opposite sides of the booth. Sorry, I just became a Sparkster sandwich. There's something down here. No? No. There's nothing down here. That was painful. Sorry for the delay. I knew I was gonna die. Sooner or later, anyway. Hello, Dragonblade. It's good to see you. Well, for the most part, when it comes to this game, what you see is what you get. Like, the princess has been taken away by the evil wolf empire. And it is the job of Sparkster, a rocket knight, to get her back. Well, this is an SNES game. I don't remember its release year, like, off the top of my head. But, oh, thank you for the follow. Heck, I really wasn't that bad. Konami are the developers, just like the other Rocket Knight series games. This is the third game in the series. I mentioned it earlier to everyone else, but there is actually a game called Sparkster on Genesis as well, but it is a completely different game. Like, they have nothing in common except the music and the general aesthetic. Not even the enemies are the same. That is why this is the third game in the series, because that version of Sparkster was the second game in the series. Interestingly enough, they also have the same box art though, so it was probably really confusing to consumers back in the day. Lava. So far, so good. Yeah, it feels a lot like it could be a treasure game, although, of course, it isn't. But it has that kind of vibe to it. I've heard that opinion a lot. That said, I think that's also part of why people tend to mention treasure as an influence of Freedom Planet, but they don't really think about this game, even though it obviously must have been an influence. Although Lilac's Dragon Boost ability is actually based on Rystar, not on anything to do with Sparkster. This boss is a nuisance. It's a garbage boss that's, well, picks up various stuff and uses it against you. Oh no. I'm starting to get back into the groove of the game. I say and then I die. But I am starting to get back into the groove a bit. Really? Again? I got too ahead of myself, I think. Let's see what's over here. It's not much, but it helps. Okay, I'm definitely getting the hang of this again. Right, there's something up there. I remember how to get up there too. There's a one-up. Or it might be something else. It's roulette, it seems. Just a crystal ripoff. Okay. Now we have been painted orange for no apparent reason, to be honest. There's nothing up. Oh, right, there's crystals up here. Oh no! Okay. Whoops. Whoa. Boom. Okay, boss time again. It comes in from this side, I think. Okay, so just touching its empty hand still hurts. So, it's Friday. Does anybody have any plans for the weekend? Yakuza 0, beautiful. I love Yakuza. I'm so glad that more people can play it now that it's actually coming to PC like this. I don't know about your region, but in the US, Yakuza 3 is disc only. Oh, you mean the PS4 version? Yeah. I know a lot of people who feel that way, Mew. Personally, I don't mind as long as developers are upfront about it. Yakuza 4 was my first Yakuza game, personally. Akiyama is just the best. Yeah, Denuvo usually doesn't degrade performance, but it depends on the developer's implementation and how often they call it. That went smooth. Now, see, you could could say that, but there is a chance that developers would simply roll out patches for the de novo games at that point, the ones that are still in service, and the ones that aren't, you'd easily be able to find cracks for them after that. Personally, however, I now make certain that every game I personally work on will not have any kind of DRM. Like, I've removed DRM from the games that I worked on for Xseed and replaced it with being able to use GOG or Steam, or just not use anything. You know, whatever, right? So, that's my own stance. Oh, this boss is giving me trouble. Guys, I will be right back.